Hey, Felicia and Anne-Marie, thank you for your submission. Wonderful work with this particular assignment. I love that you're thinking of the design elements mentioned in the learning activities this week. And I love that you're really thinking about type and placement of subject along with location for the type. Looking at your contact sheet, Felicia, you did a great job, as you mentioned, to really work contrast, line, color, and something really kind of graphic looking. Um, One thing to consider is that the pre-existing type is in the top left corner. But I like that you're exploring a lot of different focal points and a lot of different compositions when it comes to capturing the line and negative space. So good job looking at this. The only thing I would tell you is that because of the existing type, you know that you are quite limited as to where things are. I mean, even the bottom right one here, the type would work in there well, as it's very leave it up to someone's imagination. But somebody who runs like I do, you do look down and you do see these things. So in the end, you came up with some good, ideas, all vertical, which is great. But I feel like the type is running into some issues when it comes to conflicting lines. So there's a couple things you can do here. One, you might want to try this if you really like this image. I'd try straightening it in Lightroom Crop Tool and seeing if you could fit them within the perimeter somewhere. Running could probably be in just above in that line area, and then the rest below where it exists now. So that would be cool. I like this one because it fits a lot better. And what I like about this symbolism is that it has number one, which is like some runners are very competitive, and some competitors are very solo runners. So that symbolizes one. So I would vote for that one. I like your simplicity of the end one too. So these two would be my choices, but I do like the symbolism in this one. Now, Anne-Marie, you went with a specific runner, which is great, and you've got good rule of thirds and leading lines in some of these photos. Once again, I have to mention the vertical is good and that you have room for type in a lot of pictures. Um, I like kind of the lift off the ground, but it's not going to work for the type. And you've got a lot of positions. Please understand how important it is not to crop feet, especially when it comes to running for my life. Don't crop the things that the book's about is your feet. So, but always keep feet in or do another type of crop, maybe mid-calf, mid-thigh. I do like the start off ones here. I think there's a lot of dynamic feeling in these photos with the long shadows and the sun coming through and highlighting the boy's head. And what I like about the back ones here in the top left corner is that this book is about, it's kind of like about somebody who's been running a while, whereas a kid isn't. Now, you can think of a kid like you might have started as a kid, and that's when the memoir starts. But I would think it's more in line just to have that kind of neutralness to those top left ones there. Looks like you have ample room for type in those ones too, for the existing type. You'll have to try it. In the end, please don't post any F files. What you should do is export them out of Lightroom in the print module once again. Just choose one photo per page, one column, one row, and export them at 150 ppi. I'm actually surprised they really went in there because they were like something like 17 megabytes a file. And also when it comes to workflow for all of us, I had to download it, open it in Camera Raw, open it in Photoshop, save it as a JPEG, and in order for me to critique you here. So please follow the workflow, which is PDF, ideally one, which can be combined very easily in Acrobat. If you need help on that, please let me know. One thing about this photo I noticed when I zoomed in and when I had it in Photoshop, it's not in focus. So this wouldn't be a good one to choose. I love the train hard on his shirt, but you have to also think, is that going to conflict with the type that is existing? So check that one out and maybe go back to some of the other ones that I had mentioned as being strong ones. Even this one here that you're seeing on the left-hand side, love the leading line and there is ample room likely for type up there. The second one you chose too, not ideal because it's underexposed a great deal, and I don't think this is such a dynamic image. I see him pointing to the B, but and the existing type probably could fit in there no problem, but I just feel like this composition isn't as strong. You've got some distraction in the bottom right corner. Maybe it holds the frame, I don't know, but I feel like it's dark, and I feel like you have way more dynamic shots than that when it comes to the top lefts and middle and him running down the road. But I really appreciate you trying a bunch of different compositions. Both you and Felicia did a great job with that. Exactly what I'm looking for. And just be mindful about exposure and getting it correct. If it looks dark in your histogram or your back screen, reshoot and watch that meter indication inside your viewfinder. I hope this feedback helps.